We're talking SEC football. And make your jokes. Make your jokes. I know that Auburn is the one I'm referring to because we throw toilet paper on trees, but it's a lot better than what some of y'all do. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But, David, we have the BetOnline, which go to betonline.ag.
Yes.
Use promo code BOOSTER. Become A better person, and B, get a chance to work to operate the best sports book around, get that instant deposit bonus. But, David, all right, I'm going to go through these quickly, and then I want to ask you for your highlights, okay? The fantasy files.
Yes.
All right, Georgia, 10.5. Texas, 10.5. Bama, 9.5. LSU, 9.5. Ole Miss, 9.5. Missouri, 9.5. God almighty, that's more 9.5s than are walking around the Hamptons right now. Tennessee, 8.5. Texas A&M, 8.5. Auburn, 7.5. Oklahoma, 7.5. Kentucky, 6.5. South Carolina, Florida, Arkansas, all 5.5. Mississippi State, 4.5. And Vanderbilt, that's right, they play football too, at 2.5. David?
2.5.
David Cohn, give me the one you like the most off the bat and the one you like the least off the bat. Or like over-under, basically.
The one I like the most, I like Ole Miss over 9.5. I mean, I do think the natural place to start is Georgia at 10.5. I think Georgia's going to have one of the top 2 rosters in the country when you look at what they have coming back with Carson back. And then obviously we can talk about the Buckeyes too in the Big Ten, both going to be elite rosters. Do you have their schedule pulled up over there, Blaine?
Who do you need?
Georgia.
Yeah, I just had it and then I changed.
Georgia.
I have it if you want.
I got it right here, Dave. Don't worry about it. It's right here.
Rattle it off.
Hey, is it right there?
Week 1. It's Dabo Sweeney and the boys.
And that's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
That's in Atlanta.
Say that again.
Dabo Sweeney and the boys.
Dabo Sweeney?
Dabo's coming down to investigate.
He's coming down to Georgia.
What do you like?
Is he coming down to Georgia? Is that at Georgia?
For the devil.
I like Georgia, Georgia.
Bush.
I see what you did there because we were talking about rappers.
Yeah, so you got Kentucky week 1. Week
Wait,
2,
I thought you said Clemson. Week.
Clemson.
Jeez.
Sorry. See, one mistake.
Jump in on these with me, too.
It's not, you say one mistake, but it's
he
one
messed up
mistake
the
after
bet
the other.
online. Read it. I didn't make fun of him.
Yeah, listen, just look at your handwriting.
See?
All right, so Clemson in Atlanta,
Clemson,
neutral site.
In Atlanta, neutral site. Week 2, you have TNTC.
Yeah, they're going to win that one.
Tech of Chattanooga.
They're going to win that one.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
2-0.
Week 3, you're going on the road to Kentucky.
3-0.
Then you go play at Bama.
You know what? Just
give them loss. Just
for S's and gigs, let's give them an L on it. Let's just say loss.
Just to be conservative on the numbers.
Yes.
All right, then you're going to kill Auburn at home.
Yes.
All right. Then you got Mississippi State at home.
Killed.
Levy and the boys. It's going to be rough. Then you go to Texas.
See, that's interesting.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm going to go ahead and tell you I think over because I think at worst they split Bama and Texas.
That's what I was saying. So you play both Bama and Texas on the road. Finish it out.
Then you got Florida at home.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Ole Miss.
Well, Florida neutral site.
Okay. God, you go to Ole Miss?
They go to Ole Miss?
Mm-hmm.
God, they have Alabama, Texas, and Ole Miss.
See, that's what worries you. Like if you lose 2 out of 3.
Here's the thing. Let's go through the rest.
You can only lose 1.
Let's go through the rest of the schedule, and then we'll have our first tier, then second tier, then.
All right, then you got Tennessee at home.
Win, but closer than the experts.
All right, you got UMass at home. UMass, excuse me. UMass, and you have Georgia Tech, the Fighting Engineers.
Win.
That's it.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you right now. I like. Don't love. I like the over, but this may not be my first choice. I may not bet that one. Let's keep going down the list.
Okay, so what about when I said Ole Miss at 9.5?
Let's go to Ole Miss. So
that
you
means
got
they
Georgia
could lose
at home,
2 games.
and I don't think they play Bama.
No, they play. Hold on, you have their schedule.
I got it, Dave. Put the paper down, Dave. I got it.
Just backing you.
This
up.
candle
Analog.
smells so good. If you don't, we're gonna put the link for merch in the chat. If you don't get this Flaming Dragon candle, it's a good smelling candle, man. I just
Big
smell
red.
it, man. It's like
Hey, were you
Fireball
locking over there?
I am.
We're trying to do over under weight, and you're smelling candles.
But maybe how do you think football started?
All right, week 1, Ole Miss. You got Furman.
Dub.
Yeah. Week 2, you got Middle Tennessee State at home.
Dub.
Week 3, you're on the road at Wake. Such a weird game.
Dub.
Week 4, you got the Fighting David Cones and Georgia Southern.
Loss.
Week 5, you got Kentucky at home.
5-0.
At South Carolina.
6-0.
You go to Death Valley.
7-0.
Wow, they're cruising right now. 7-0.
Then you got Oklahoma at home.
8-0.
Then you go to Arkansas.
9-0.
Georgia at home.
I'm gonna say loss.
Go to Florida.
Win.
Mississippi State at home.
Win. Over. I would have taken it at 10.5.
Comfortably.
I would have. That's my favorite bet on the board right now is Ole Miss over 9.5.
Okay, we've gone through 2 teams. A lot left.
All right.
Yeah. So what do you like?
I like the under for Georgia.
You like the under?
The under. So they would lose
10 and 2. 10 and 2.
I think they're going to lose to Bama and Texas.
Okay.
For Ole Miss, I like the over. I mean, you're worried about LSU obviously on the road, but until LSU's defense starts to show up, I think Ole Miss has a better preference.
We've got to go through Texas and Bama schedule. Let us know in the chat too as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? Let's go over Texas and Bama schedule too.
All right, pulling Texas up.
It's really going to be hard for me to not go through all these schedules.
Yeah.
Just to see.
All right, Texas, week 1, you got Colorado State at home.
Dub.
You go to Michigan.
Dub.
You got UTSA at home.
Dub.
ULM at home.
Dub.
Mississippi State at home.
Win.
Oklahoma at home.
Win.
Georgia at home.
Win.
All right.
That's 7.
That's the next one. You go on the road at Vanderbilt.
Win.
Is the stadium finished or not?
Well, the good part is Texas' stadium.
All right, then you got Florida at home.
Win.
You go to Arkansas and the Fighting used to be Coach Sam Pittman's.
Win. Is he there by then, you think?
No, he's gone. Kentucky at home.
Win.
And then you finish on the road at A&M.
Loss. 11-1.
Wow.
But I'm not betting that. I would not bet Texas. I don't like it enough to bet it. I can go ahead and tell you, I don't like Bama's enough to bet it. Year 1 in Kalen DeBoer.
All right, I'll pull that
I got to see it.
Let's do Bama. Alabama's 9.5 on the
9.5 on Bama. Week 1, you got the Fighting Hilltoppers in Western Kentucky.
Win.
USF
at home this time.
At home. Look, Golish and them.
You feel like
no joke down there, but Bama's going to win.
All right, week 3 at Wisconsin.
Win.
Don't do it again, dude.
Win.
You did it last year in Wisconsin. Just was the worst.
Oh, you talking about picking? I didn't pick Wisconsin to beat Bama. I thought Wisconsin was going to have a better year. I'll say win for Bama on that one.
Then you got Georgia at home.
I don't know. Keep going.
At Vandy.
Win.
Don't laugh at that. South Carolina at home.
Win.
The Fighting Josh Heupels.
Where?
At Tennessee.
Loss.
Mizzou at home.
That one's tricky.
That'll be interesting.
Coming off.
That's the one I'm looking at.
That'll be fun.
That may make or break the 9.5.
Tough stretch right here. You're at Tennessee, Mizzou at home, at LSU.
Ooh.
Yeah. Coming off a bye.
Ooh.
Other than this, then you go to Oklahoma. We have Mercer at home. Then you go to Oklahoma. Then you finish with Auburn at home.
Not touching, but if I had to touch, under.
I think so too. If I had to play, it'd be the under.
Yeah. I don't think that's crazy. But then again, we've seen them win double-digit.
I know, but that
so long.
Napoleon's not on the sidelines walking around.
I know. It's
he's
weird.
exiled now.
Yeah.
Well, he's self-exiled.
It's weird to
He
see.
self-exiled himself.
Let's go on the other end of the spectrum right here. Let's go Vanderbilt 2.5. Because this may be my favorite bet on the board.
Okay. After that, I want to talk about South Carolina because I have something interesting.
Oh,
about
you
that
do,
one.
David?
Break down Vanderbilt real quick.
All right, let's break it down. It's not great. All right, week 1, Virginia Tech at home.
That's a winnable game. That's a winnable game.
It's a losable game, too.
Well, every game's a losable game with Vanderbilt. There's only some that are winnable. I'll say they lose, though. Let's say loss.
Oh.
Alcorn, week 2 at home.
There's one.
Week 3 on the road at Georgia State.
Winnable, just lost
Georgia
their head
State can
coach.
beat you, man.
Give me a win. Vanderbilt starts out 2-1. And if Brent prying them, I know they figured it out a little bit at the end there at Virginia Tech.
Look, I don't even have to read. Look, you want to know the over and under for Vanderbilt season? It's going to come down to this. Virginia Tech, Alcorn, Georgia State, and Ball State.
Ball State at home?
At home.
I'm over. I'm smashing that over.
You like the over, huh?
Other than that, it's at Missouri, Alabama at home, at Kentucky, Texas at home, at Auburn, South Carolina at home, at LSU, Tennessee at home.
Yeah, you're not winning one of those.
Maybe Auburn.
No.
So New Mexico State can do it, Vandy.
Well, no, they brought in New Mexico State's quarterback and head coach to help. Yeah.
Auburn did?
Vanderbilt did.
Oh, yeah.
Pavia, the guy who just ripped Auburn's heart out and showed it to him.
He's at Vandy now. Right?
Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber.
I'm telling you.
So South Carolina is 5.5. I'll do the same thing that Dragon did. I'll just talk about the non-conference to start for South Carolina. Old Dominion, Akron,
Win.
Wofford,
Win.
And they do have Clemson at the end of the year, obviously.
Vandy.
Where's that
State
at?
rivalry, but they have Vanderbilt. And the Clemson game is at Clemson.
See, this I don't even know if I.
All right, so I got 4.
Yep.
I got 4. What's
Four.
in between the sandwich?
4.
David?
Okay. LSU at home. Kentucky. They have Kentucky on the road. LSU at home. They have Ole Miss at home. Alabama on the road. Oklahoma on the road. Texas A&M comes to town. Then they have Vanderbilt on the road. Missouri comes to them. So they need to just win a game in conference. Shane Beamer. Give me the over.
I would lean over. Yeah, I would lean over. And I hope they do. I really hope they do. But I mean, that,
You gotta win 2
God.
games.
I mean, outside of nobody has a walk in the park in the SEC.
I like.
Well,
the
if you
under.
you like the under. Well, so
If
you
he-
had
no.
him losing to Clemson at the end of the year.
Yes.
Who's going to be the quarterback for South Carolina?
Lenore Sellers.
How much do we believe? Like,
Well, we got to see him,
Up
but
front?
from what I've heard, I think they're going to be better up front. Obviously, they missed in the transfer portal last year. Here's the, I obviously have no connection to South Carolina as a fan, right? I'm a fan of one team. I'm not one of these guys that's a fan of multiple teams. But we always look at things in an even nature here. We all been in the business. We know how the sausage is made. And to be honest with you, Auburn hasn't sent me a check yet, so I'm going to call it how I see it. If Shane Beamer does not hit this over, they are going to fire him.
yes,
Which I would hate to
I
see
think
because
he's-
I do think Shane
I think he's gone.
is. I don't think so. I think they'll hit that over. I'll lean on the over. I hope so.
Pull for the over.
But
I like
damn,
Shane Beamer.
it just
Well, yeah,
it's a hard knock life
him.
out
I
here.
just like you lose Spencer Rattler, and people really don't know how good Spencer Rattler was.
He was one of the
Blake
most important
Baldwin's-
players to his team in the country.
Yeah, like you lose him, you lose
agree with that.
Leggett, who's a good
Here-
piece, and like these aren't like Missouri's not a walk in the park.
Oh,
Anymore.
No, Missouri's going to be a top 4
At-
team
yeah,
possibly.
at
in the
Cle- I mean,
SEC.
you have Ole Miss. I mean, at Kentucky, maybe at Oklahoma. I mean, we'll see what the deal is at A&M, but I like the under.
Florida at 5.5 seems
Under.
We have
high
to
me.
talk about Florida.
Seems high to me, right?
Yeah, I mean, look
At their scope. Go ahead and bring up that
pulled it up.
nightmare.
I think I had 4 and 8 last year, and even that didn't feel right. And they got to 5. Right?
They got to
Weren't they
5.
5 and 7.
they got to 5.
It just the way Florida's been struggling, it never feels right. And now they have even a tougher schedule than they did last year. Probably a top 3 toughest schedule in the country.
That's why I saw the
So-
5 and I was shocked if you're going to have Mississippi State at 4.5. Why they didn't have Florida at 4.5? I know it's a new coach at
So
Mississippi
you're
State.
you're out of conference for Florida.
Can you just go in order though? Can you just go in order? Because
Yeah.
I want to see who they play after. Like if they play Georgia, I need to know who they play after that.
Okay, well, week 1, obviously, you start with Miami. That's a loss in my book.
New quarterback for my
they opened
Well,
with
Cam
Miami?
Ward. It's Cam Ward. That's a
Cam
loss.
Ward, it's
Where?
I don't know where. I think it might be at home. But I don't know how they're going to do. The
Does it not say on there?
Stadium will be split. I have to click on it.
Let me see.
Because that's obviously
It's at
it's at
Ben
home.
Hill Griffins.
Yeah.
that's at Florida.
Games
That's
at
a swamp.
Florida.
Yeah.
So week 2, you have Sanford at home.
You know what? Right now, mark me up for Florida as a win in week 1.
To open the year.
Mark me up for a win in week 1.
All right, week 2, you have Sanford at home.
Win.
A&M at home.
We'll see.
God.
That's going to be, I mean, that's
All
interesting.
right, keep going.
At Mississippi State.
Winnable.
UCF at home.
God,
Huh.
that sucks, man.
In-state. That's
You
tough.
played Miami and UCF,
In
and
the
then you're going to play Florida State.
Yeah.
Keep going.
All right, at Tennessee. Kentucky at home.
Winnable.
UGA at home. At Texas. LSU at home. Ole Miss at home. At FSU.
That's brutal.
Bro, this stretch. They're going to have UCF, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, FSU.
You
Where's
have
the
to.
Texas game?
At Texas.
You have to thread the injury needle. So
You're done. He's cooked.
I don't
he's-
see it.
He's done.
Wow.
He's
I don't see it. That's me saying you're going to beat Miami,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I would have to go under. Betting my money.
That's the best bet on the board.
You think that's the best bet on
Is
the
the
board?
under for Florida.
I think it's between Ole Miss,
Or Ole Miss.
Florida, and Vanderbilt. What I mean, Vanderbilt over, Florida under, Ole Miss
I'm
over
just-
at 9.5.
Yeah, it's just tough for me to put my eggs into Vanderbilt actually doing well. So I would say right now the Ole Miss over and the Florida under are the best.
Well, what did Vanderbilt win last year? They win 2?
I thought they got
Won
3.
3?
didn't
I
they?
think they got 3.
Did they beat Hawaii?
They beat Hawaii.
I have to hear your guys' thoughts on Auburn at 7.5 right now. I mean,
Under.
Hugh Freeze, year 2. You have to think like, man, he's going to get things figured out and they're going to be better, but they're still going to start Peyton Thorne at quarterback, right?
Yeah, and look, I don't trust Peyton Thorne in big games where he's got to be able to throw, Auburn to wins. Now the receivers have to step up. I know they're young, but I think there's a decent chance that Auburn could start out 5-0. If you pull up their schedule.
Yeah, we got it right now.
All right, go through.
We got Alabama A&M week 1.
Win.
Cal at home.
Win.
New Mexico at home.
Win.
Arkansas at home.
Win.
Oklahoma at home.
I think that's winnable. That'll be Jackson Arnold's first road SEC game as a quarterback. Oklahoma, I think, is going to be better on defense, but I think that's a very winnable game for Auburn. Oklahoma's just sitting at 7.5, so let's not act like they're sitting up there at 10.5.
All right, then you're at Georgia.
Loss.
At Missouri.
Loss.
At Kentucky.
I think that's a winnable game.
That's a winnable game.
Vandy at home.
Win.
ULM.
Win.
A&M at home.
Winnable.
At Florida.
That's
at Alabama, excuse me.
I was about to say.
That's why I like
the over. I like the over. I went on Black for being locked on, and I said I think if they start out 5-0, I think you have to start out 5-0 with that schedule. You'll have a ton of momentum. If you beat Oklahoma, you'll be ranked. You go to Georgia, probably not going to be pretty. We don't do well there. At Missouri is going to be a nightmare this next year. Couldn't say you couldn't do it, but that's going to be tough. I think 8-4 is a good floor for that schedule and this team with what they have coming back. Possibly being able to go 9-3, but you don't play Ole Miss.
That A&M
you don't
game
play
late in the
LSU.
season, right? That's the game that would probably either tip the scale on the over.
Is that one on the road?
That one's at home.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
if you win at Kentucky.
Yeah, but win at Kentucky, that's going to be a tough place to win at, though.
Well, it's not. It's going to be a lot easier now that Liam Cohen's ass is back with the Rams. I can promise you that. But look, no one stoops.
Mm-hmm.
They're always just a gritty group and have a couple guys.
Yeah.
What do we like next? A&M at 8.5.
See, I think I'm staying away from A&M year one under Elko. I believe in it. I like getting back to the grittiness that I think Texas A&M does the best when they identify with. The one I'm interested in that we haven't gone over is LSU. Because there's no way that defense can be worse than what it was last year. The offense is going to be as good. So when I was talking with Moscona the other day, I brought this up. I was like, look, LSU just needs team balance. That's what they need. They've got good enough athletes to do it. You've got to be able to win in multiple ways. They could only win in one way last year, and when Jaden went down against Alabama, the goose was cooked. You knew not that Nuss is a bad player, but he can't create the way Jaden can create. So 9.5. Somebody thinks LSU is going to figure it out on defense, and that somebody's obviously BetOnline putting it out there, betonline.ag. Use promo code BOOSTER. Go ahead.
All right, week 1, you're going to have USC. And that's an Southern
opener.
California.
That's in Cali?
That will be in Allegiant Stadium.
Okay, neutral site.
Oh, that's Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
shout out to LSU for these openers.
For sure.
Florida State back-to-back years, and now you're going to open with USC.
Whatever you want to take the over in this. Week 2, Nicholls State. It's a W. In week 3, you go on the road at South Carolina.
That's a big one. That's a big one early, not just for Brian, but for Shane. Give me LSU.
Sneaky little game here. You got UCLA at home.
Ooh, they play USC and UCLA?
Yeah. God, did they go in the Big Ten?
Yeah, I thought those went to the Big Ten.
I'm going to say win. New coach at UCLA with Deshaun Foster. I do like the hire, but you're walking into hell. I mean, you're just going into Mordor, and you don't even have a ring to make you disappear, or those big-ass trees.
Or a Samwise Gamgee.
You definitely don't have a Samwise Gamgee.
All right, let's go to Crane's alma mater. They got the boys from South Alabama rolling in.
It's a win for LSU. I hate to say it,
Yeah. Keep it close. Cover. Is it a cover from South?
I got to see the numbers.
All right, then you have Ole Miss at home.
They get them at home? I don't know. Keep going.
At Arkansas.
Give me a win.
At A&M.
Loss.
The Bama boys coming to town.
Win.
At Florida.
Win.
Vandy at home.
Win.
Then at Oklahoma.
Why would I bet this? Why would I bet this?
Yeah, this is a tough one.
We just don't know. We just don't. I've got to see LSU tackle somebody. I've got to see him tackle somebody. I would not saying they can't or they won't figure it out. I think they probably will. But why, when I have these other ones, when I have that beautiful 9.5 by Ole Miss right there that I can just put money on the over, why would I put money on LSU over or under? Why would I put money on Alabama over or under? I could understand Georgia. Missouri, that's an interesting one. Because obviously It's like Ole Miss and Missouri are bringing back the exact same thing.
I know.
Coming off the exact same year. I don't believe they play each other. Could we go through Missouri's schedule really quickly?
All right, week 1, you got Murray State.
When?
Week 2, you got Buffalo.
When?
Week 3, you got Boston College.
When?
Week 4, you got Vandy at home.
When?
And you're at A&M.
Tough. Let's keep going.
At UMass.
When?
Auburn at home.
When?
At Alabama.
Loss.
Oklahoma at home.
When?
At South Carolina.
When?
At Mississippi State.
When?
Arkansas at home.
When? That's 10. That's 10 saying that they win a couple of those road games. Do you touch, David? Do you touchy?
I feel like they're going to have a really good year. 10's a lot. 10's a lot, but if I had to bet it, I'd take the over. 10.5 for Texas is what's really interesting to me with that schedule.
That's that one. I'm not
Michigan.
touching. First year in the SEC.
But you bring back your quarterback.
You do.
Just made the college football playoff. A lot of momentum in Austin for the first
bring
time.
back a
in
good
long
offensive
time.
line.
You know, an opportunity to get off to a hot start in the SEC where, you know, your rival's going to be starting a new quarterback, a younger quarterback with Oklahoma. Theirs at 7.5. So, I don't know. I can't wait.
Definitely. We want to know what you guys think. Let us know in the comments. Hello, YouTube. It's me, once again, your fearless sports media friend, Jay Crane. Hit that subscribe button, because if not, maybe you really are as lame as what they called you in high school.